Alright, so Season 9 came with a lot of changes for Overwatch that injected life into the core gameplay loop. There was a ton of changes that were rolled out for Season 9, but the one I want to look at are the HP buffs that everybody got. Everybody who was a squishy, who sat at 200 HP, now has 250 HP. And I want to look at that in particular because that spells a lot of bad no-nos for every little rat man. Okay, now Junkrat isn't really what you would call a meta pick, if you couldn't tell by all the Tracer and Sojourns in pro play. He's pretty situational, but that hasn't stopped many mentally insane people from dedicating their whole lives to playing this silly little guy. A lot of people in lower ranks think Junkrat's kind of OP, kind of no skill, kind of this and that. And half of it is right. I mean, if you're in those lower ranks, it's pretty easy to get value just off of spamming alone, because if you're just spamming down a choke or a corridor, people are probably going to walk into it because their awareness just isn't on par with the higher ranked people. This means that the higher you go in the ranks, if you're just only playing Junkrat, just one-tricking Junkrat, it would get exponentially harder to get value off of him, simply because of the fact that as you get higher in the ranks, people have more of the awareness, more of the game sense, and they learn to avoid silly little Junkrat traps, tricks, and like these mind games we try to pull. They become more aware, and off of that alone, it gets harder and harder to get value off of Junkrat. However, since people aren't going to be walking into your spam and into your random grenades flying around or traps as often as let's say a bronze player would, that would be okay because Junkrat had this really reliable 2-tap combo that could kill any squishy, any soldier, any widowmaker, any tracer, any of these squishy heroes with 200 HP he could just delete like that. And it gave Junkrat a pretty big edge and an upper hand in 1v1s, and it gave Junkrat the ability to flank like a crazy guy and to just rain bombs and delete people out of nowhere. And that's all that pretty much Junkrat had going for him in these higher ranked lobbies, was the fact that he could reliably 2-tap people and delete them just like that. It was pretty useful, pretty efficient, and it really helped Junkrat a lot go up against these hit scans and these flyers. The 2-tap pretty much stopped Junkrat from being F tier or D tier or anything worse than C tier, was the fact that he had the combo. And you could imagine, once people heard about the HP buffs and the other changes coming in Season 9, people were really worried what was going to happen to Junkrat. For good reason too. And once Season 9 came out, we all found out that Junkrat was literally the worst character in the game. Well, at least one of them, besides Ryan and Malka and other characters. It really shows how much heavy lifting the 2-tap combo did for Junkrat. It was really the only viable way you could kill people, and now that that's gone, you're really mainly just relegated to just spamming chokes, spamming corridors, and maybe getting a kill with your combo if you're lucky, or if they're low enough. The loss of the 2-tap one-shot really kills another fun playstyle for Junkrat, which is the flank rat style, which would be a Junkrat flanking up in the air with 2 of his mines, and then assassinating somebody out of nowhere. It was a really fun playstyle that a lot of Junkrats utilized because of just how silly it was, and now you pretty much can't do that because you can't kill anybody with a 2-tap. After a while, after the dust settled down from Season 9, there was a hotfix balance patch that was rolled out to buff a lot of heroes that were pretty much killed by Season 9, and that included Hanzo, Lari, Ursi, Roadhog, Daria, and of course, the Ratman. All the Junkrat mains were really hoping the 2-tap would come back and save the day, and finally make Junkrat viable and fun to play again. Nope, that never happened. Now, a lot of people can't be mad that they wouldn't bring back the 2-tap because the main goal for buffing everybody's health was to reduce burst damage instead of nerfing everybody's individual values, which it was smart, it worked out, but it really handicapped a lot of heroes. So overall, I can understand why they wouldn't want to bring the 2-tap back. It's kind of problematic. I can imagine that's pretty annoying to play against, but it made Junkrat viable, and without it, Junkrat kind of just sits in a dumpster and rots. However, over time, a lot of Junkrat players figured out how to provide value for the team despite not being as aggressive as they used to before. A lot of Junkrat players were figuring themselves out and figuring out how to play within the meta. and over time Junkrat players began playing better into comps and playing how they should be playing. And it basically forced a lot of Junkrat players to become a little bit more passive, a little bit more sitting in the back, because jumping up and going into the backline for a kill with the combo is very risky now that you can't really immediately kill anybody. A lot of top 500 Junkrat one-tricks are finally starting to find their way through the ranks and finally starting to rank up. Hotfix balance patch that rolled out for all the weaker heroes kinda benefited Junkrat, put him in a healthier spot, but he's still not where he was because the 2-tap really did a lot of the heavy work for him. I would say he's in a much better place now than he was in the beginning of Season 9. However, nothing can really beat the 2-tap combo that was present back then. It just felt so right. Is it unhealthy for the game? Probably, but it was pretty fun, and that's kind of all what I'm looking for. Pretty much why I play Junkrat. He's the most fun character to me, and I hope things get better. Peace out.